I just want to give a brief overview of the Student Research Symposia before I turn it over to Cornell Lewis, who's going to talk to us about uploading data. The Student Research Symposia in the United States is starting up in just a few weeks. We're really excited. These are student research conferences. They take place in 6 regions of the United States. They're supported by a grant from NASA and also by an organization called Youth Learning as Citizen Environmental Scientists. So we're really excited about our funders. All 5th through 12th grade students are invited that are GLOBE students, invited to attend and participate. We do have funding support available, and we're starting to award that right now. We have certain criteria that we have to meet in order for students to be awarded that. So, if you are still interested in attending the Student Research Symposia, then please apply for that, and there's a link in a minute. These are the locations. So as I said, we're starting up April 4th. In Iowa is the first one, and then we move to California, where we're having that at Nature Bridge in Sausalito, and then the other ones are listed here. We have webinars that are archived for people to view. They cover a variety of topics using the science practices from NGSS. So we have them on conducting field investigations, developing questions, analyzing data, writing conclusions, making a science poster. That was really helpful. We have 2 of those on there. And giving a poster. Then we have office hours, which are these water coolers that we have for teachers, but also we have a teacher hotline. And the teacher hotline is where teachers can fill out a form, ask questions about attending the SRS, ask questions about how to prepare students for the SRS, or any other GLOBE-related question, and we pair you up with a teacher that would have experience in either that topic or that grade level so that you can have a conversation with them. So we're taking volunteers for the hotline, but we're also accepting questions on the hotline. We also have some teacher blog posts. These are really helpful because they cover how teachers have implemented the science practices in their classroom, and those are on our website as well. We are accepting student videos, so videos for students by students. We'd really like them to feature one of the steps in the research process that they did. If you have any of your students who may want to do an extra project, this would be a great topic, and you should contact Haley, which is in the email that I have in the bottom, for more information about that. We do have an SRS teacher listserv. Emails go out every couple weeks about the Student Research Symposia, upcoming deadlines, but it also links to a lot of the resources that we have available on the SRS. And this is our web page. It is under the United States of America homepage, and then we have a link to the Student Research Symposia there. So if you have any questions, please do contact me, and my contact information is on the United States of America homepage. So that is all I have. Right now then, I'm gonna turn this over to Cornell Lewis, who is from SSAI, and he is the master of the GLOBE website, and particularly he's going to walk us through how to upload our data. So that is all I have for you, and let Cornell take it over from here, and I'm going to stop my share so that he can take over.
It says you have disabled sharing. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, hold on. I'm just gonna make you a co-host so that you should be able to control everything.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can everyone see the screen? Can you see it, Jen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'll assume everybody else can see it as well. So I don't know what the mixture is of people here, how many are new, how many, I know there are some that are seasoned veterans because I know them, but I will assume there may be some people who are very new. So I'll just go through, our Jen said how to enter data using the website and using our apps. So just to start, I'm going to be just going through, we have tutorials on setting up your data sites and entering measurement data, these two tutorials. So whatever you don't get today, you can go to these pages and you could view the video here. You can download the PowerPoint presentations for these two, which we'll be going over today. But there's also how to retrieve and visualize your data, how to set up GLOBE accounts, student accounts, collaboration, and there's an FAQ section. So that is under Get Trained using the GLOBE website. Okay. So I'm going to now switch to a PowerPoint presentation. So this is the PowerPoint presentation that's on the website. So it just goes over what's in the package, and the presentation is online. There's a section for you to try out for yourself after the demonstration, or you can download this presentation later and you can go through the questions at the end. So for new teachers, there's always a question, why enter data? So as a GLOBE teacher, doing the protocols that you get from the teacher's guide is only part of doing GLOBE. The other part is actually reporting, actually entering the data on the website. Reporting and analyzing the data is just as important as doing the protocol. So you want to be able to input the data into the website so other people can use it, and so then your students can use it to analyze into reports and analyze their data. So why enter data? So data is permanent. School data is available for the teachers and others to analyze now and in the future. There are tools to help you plot and export the data. You can analyze data from year to year and by comparing data from other schools in other countries. Your school has the opportunity to be recognized as a GLOBE Science Honor Roll school. Your students get to see their data on the site. Your students will be able to share their data with the worldwide community. So anyone in the country, and that's part of, depending on the world, that's part of GLOBE, can view your data and use it. Scientists will be able to view and use the data in their studies. And then oftentimes funding for support is based on activity. So if there's no activity, this could impact funding, especially in other countries. So how to start? What do you need to do? So you first have to have a GLOBE account, a GLOBE teacher account. You must be trained. So you can either take a GLOBE workshop in your area, or you can use e-training that's on the website, and you go through some of the modules and become trained that way. So once your account is set up and you've been trained, and if there is a problem, you can also always contact help@globe.gov if there's an issue with your account. After you have an account, you should be associated with a GLOBE school. And when you create your account, that's when you should have associated your account with a school. And then you need a data site, which is where you actually enter the characteristics of the site, that you're going to be entering data at. So where do you go? So if you want to access the data entry system. So you need to log in to the website or log into the app. Enter your email, username, and password. If you forgot your password, you can always request to have it reset by contacting, there's a reset your password link on the website. And then you need to select enter data. So I'm going to go to the website to show this instead of going through the entire presentation. So I'm going to go back to the website. All right, so after you've logged in on the website, you should see your name at the top. Go back to the home page. So your name at the top, you should see go to and manage. So there's two ways to get the data entry. One, you can go to the go to button, enter data. You can also access it from here. Well, let's just go to it from here. You can also get to it from here. So I go to enter data. What you would see is you should see your school name right there. Again, if you don't, then you're not associated with the school. So again, you need to contact help desk and make sure you're with the your school name is in the system. Assuming it is, the first thing you want to do is you want to create a site. This is a data site that is associated with the school. So you see over here is a link that says add site. You click on that, and that brings you to defining the site. What type of site is it? Is it an atmosphere site, hydrosphere, biosphere, pedosphere? So you want to select the type of site. Let's say it's atmosphere. You want to enter the name of the site, and you want to be descriptive. So site near such and such lake, or site across the park, or something to describe the type of site it is. Some sort of atmosphere in the site name. If you know the coordinates, you would enter the lat long. Again, if you're out in the field, you can use the GPS system. There's also this handy map where you can actually drag over to where the location is. You can zoom in, and then you could get as close as you can to where the location is, and then you could select it and it enters the lat long for you automatically. Then you can set the elevation based on the map. Then there are other optional things. You want to add comments about the site, about the atmosphere site. Are there any obstacles? Are there any buildings, within 10 meters of the instrument shelter, slope angle, etc.? So these are all optional. The only thing required for atmosphere, besides the lat long and the name, is the thermometer type. So you have to enter a thermometer type. Now, if you don't, let's see, how do I get out of this? Let's say if I don't enter in my name, for example, and I try to submit, I'll get a nice little sad face that says you left something blank. Make sure you enter in a site name. Once you do that and submit, the site will get created. At that point, you'll get a happy face. Site created successfully. All right, so then you can go back to the data entry home. And if I click on this, I'll then see under atmosphere site, there's a site I just created. If I click on that, I can then see the protocols that I can enter data for. So you can pick multiple types. It can be an atmosphere and a hydrosphere and a biosphere. You're not limited to the one type at the site. I'm going to pause here and go back to the presentation. Make sure I have everything covered for that first part. Okay, so we talked about signing in, creating the site, entering the information, any comments. Oh, you can also add photos. So there is a photos section if you want to add photos about the site. You can add the north, south, east, west, up and down. Mentioned going back to data entry home. So then there's, like I said, there's a part where you can go in and practice yourself. Where there's a training site where if you don't want to enter in the measurements on the live site, you can go to the training site and actually practice with the different protocols. And then when you're ready, you can then go to the live site. Okay, so let me go again. So you can take a test, and there's some answers, and then etc. So that's sort of the first phase, is setting up your site. So now I'm going to talk about actually entering the measurements once you've created the site. So let me close this document and open up another one.
And Cornell, while you're doing that, we do have a question. So I just wanted to open it up for questions as we're going along, if that's okay. So Janelle has one. If we are remote from our school, we can create a new site and just enter the location. Is that correct? Janelle, do you want to explain a little bit more about that?
I didn't hear the first part of the question.
It says if we're remote from our school, we can create a new site and just enter the location, correct? Janelle, do you want to say anything more about that?
Yes, you can using the app. So the app interface looks just like the one I'm showing you. So let me just do that real quick. Let me show you that real quick. I actually have my handy dandy ability to see my phone. This is my actual phone. So here's the data entry app. And so here's the same, you see the same interface. So I can add a site right on my phone. So if I'm on location, I can create the site right at that point as well. Okay. So while I'm here, I'll just continue with the presentation on my phone. So now I have my site. I have my sites here. There's my school. Here are my sites. Here's atmosphere. So these are all the protocols. Let's make sure. So I'm just checking that. So let's say in this example, I want to just enter air temperature. So I can enter in the date and time. I can use the UTC time if I just want to use that. It grabs that for me. At that point, I can then enter in the current temperature. Now it does, if you enter in some crazy number, 100 Celsius, oops, and try to submit that. Oh, does that work? That should not have worked. Let's see here. It should have told me it was an error. That's surprising that it let that go through. Let me see if it's doing that on the desktop version. Hold on a second, sorry. All right, so I'm on the desktop. So air temperature 1 day, get UTC time. I should not be able to enter in some. That's very hot. That's very hot, right? Is that possible? Okay, so it does say it's out of range. Maybe I didn't enter in 100. Anyway, so it does check to see, you know, it wants to make sure you're in the correct range. So I enter in 20. It does go through. So then the measurements have been sent directly to Globe if I'm not on my phone. If I'm on my phone and I'm in an area that doesn't have Wi-Fi or a connection, it will save it to your phone, and then you can submit it to Globe later once you have a connection. So once I've submitted it, I can look at past observations, and it should. Am I on the right one? I think I'm looking at this one. Didn't I just enter that here? Let's see, Monday observations. 20 degrees. Okay, went through. Observation site. It should show my past observations. Why is it not showing? Did I pick today's date? I'm sorry. Do it one more time. 21st, okay. 20th. Here it is, okay. So you see past observations show up. You can, if you made a mistake, you can go and you can edit that information, change the value. You can delete it if you want to start over by hitting the delete button there. Excuse me. The other nice feature about this is there are these things called bookmarks. So if I am doing the same observations over and over again, instead of having to click on the school, click on the site, find the protocol, I can check this little star here, and see it will add it up to the top of my bookmark. So I can always, when I come back, even if this is closed, I can just click on that and then it'll go right to the form. So that's a very quick introduction on how to enter the measurements. Now I mentioned that we have the app. So there's actually 3 ways to enter your measurements. You can do it either on your desktop using the data entry forms I just presented. You can use let me go back to my phone. Let me just show you my phone. So this is, so there's 2 apps here. There is the data entry, Globe data entry, which is what we were just looking at, and that's where I can enter my measurements. On my phone, like I said, once I enter the measurements, if I have a data connection, I can then check on my measurements there, check in that box, hit send measurements to Globe. At that point, it will actually send the data to Globe. So the other app is our Globe Observer app, which is this app. And this was created primarily to allow someone who's not trained, just a citizen scientist that wants to participate in the program. There are 3 modules to this app, and the more simplified easy to use apps that allow someone to do either the cloud protocol, the mosquito habitat mapper protocol, or the land cover protocol. So if you click on, if you're doing clouds, for example, you can do a no observation, and again, it finds the lat long for you. It finds your location next, and then you just go through the screens to go through and select any of your measurements for clouds. So it works the same for mosquitoes and the same for land cover. So anyone can use this. So even a teacher, a Globe member can also use this app, but a citizen science has to still create an account, and they create a Globe account, but we only ask for their email. We don't ask for all their information, their name, just email and what country they're from, and then they can use the app. So I will pause here. And how are we doing on time, Jen?
We're doing okay on time. We have a couple questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to go back to the one about sites. And Janelle asked, is there limitations as to the distance from the school or country?
The distance? There's no limit to the distance from the school. You can create a site that's associated with a school anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So when you go into the app or the data entry form, it will have your school, and once you select the school, the data is associated with that school. So it doesn't matter where the site is, as long as it's associated with the school.
And it does have to be a globe country. Is that correct? We shouldn't be reporting data in a country that is not.
Right. The system will not let you create a site in a non-globe country. It has to be in a globe country.
Okay. And then Tracy, you had a question about the Observer app for your personal account. Did you want to?
Yeah, sorry, the type there. Hey, so Cornell, I was curious because so I have an Observer account, right, which is my personal, you know, because it started out with clouds kind of stuff. So
right.
How is because especially for clouds, because it's kind of like wherever you are, you know, you'll get that, you know, you want to do that cloud observation. It right. Wouldn't be necessarily at your school's site that's been already set up, although it may be, but it may not be. How does that get distinguished if you use your login, like even if a student, I mean, do they have to use their Globe login to set up an Observer account?
Well, no, a student can use their own personal email. But you know, we have student accounts that are associated with a school. But if a student uses their own personal account, it's not going to be associated with the school. It's going to be part of their country's citizen science organization.
Right. So, but you were saying the third way to enter data is through the Globe Observer app. And so my question is, how would I enter that data for my school using the Globe Observer app unless I log in with my school?
You'd have to log in with your school account, whatever account you use when you created the school, and then it would be associated with the school.
And so that cloud data, as long as I entered, you know, as long as I went into the Observer app with my school ID, you could say, that cloud data could be anywhere, not just at the school site, but that cloud data.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
That's correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Are there other questions from the teachers on the line before I go back to Janelle's? If you want to raise your hand or just speak, we'll do the count of 7 to give you some time. Okay, Janelle had a question. Have people had luck using the Observer as a gateway app, or is it better just to support the use of data entry?
I'm sorry, again, the first part was cut off.
Have people had luck using the Observer as a gateway app, or is it better just to support the use of data entry?
Well, you know, it depends on what you want to do and what protocol you're using. If you're just doing clouds and Mosquito app, then yes, using the Observer app is a good way just to quickly create an account and start using the app to enter your measurements. If you want to go the more traditional route where you want to learn some of the other protocols, whether it's through a workshop or through e-training, then you use your regular Globe account, and then as a trained Globe teacher, you can then do protocols, any of the protocols. Now, I will point out that a Globe Observer can also do e-training and do any of the protocols as well. The difference is between the two is that Globe Observers don't have full rights of the website. They don't have a My Page. They can't join a community. They can't collaborate with other teachers because we don't know who they are. We don't know their name. So they're very limited in what they can do with the website other than entering measurements. So it just depends on what the person wants to do in the program. Did that answer the question?
I think so. She says, thank you. This is really helpful. Are there more questions? You can type them in the chat box. And if there's any specific measurement questions, so data entry for specific measurements, this is the time to ask those too. I know we had some people on that have been reporting maybe the frost tube one, or also aerosols, some hydrology measurements. So if you had any questions or challenges for those, we're happy to entertain them.
If there's time, I could show Viz if people are interested. We talked about getting the data in, and there's a question: how do you get the data out? And that's where Viz and our advanced data access tool comes into play.
So anybody want to see getting the data out?
Yes, that would be great. I see somebody typed in. All right, so let me just quickly. So once you get the data in, again, if you go back up to Go To, there is a Visualize Data option, and that brings up our Viz system. So there's essentially 3 steps. You want to define what protocol you want to visualize, what date, and then click a measurement to retrieve the data. So let's say this is my protocol layer, and if I want to get air temperature, it's going to show me all air temperature measurements for a particular day. In this case, it's today. I can easily change that day to another day. Once I do that, you can see that I've got date ranges or measurement data You can see from the legend, you can see from cold to hot. So I can see where it's really hot, and I can see where it's really cold. If I click on one of these, okay. So it's going to bring up data for a particular school at a particular site. So this is a Missouri Beast virtual school. There's the site name. You can see it's air temperature. That's what I selected. And then it defaults to a 30-day range. Tells me to measure that time and the value for the day selected. It also will show me if there are any other measurements at that site. I can jump to other measurements for the other protocols at this site. I can see a table of the measurements for that 30 days. I can see all measurements. At the site. This might take a while. So all measurements. I can change it from 30-day to year to a custom range. I can see a larger view. I can also export this to a CSV file down here. So I can open up in Excel. I can also filter by various things. If I'm looking for a particular site, if I want to find a site by a partner or by a school or by a place, like if I want to just find all schools in the United States, it will filter just to schools in the US. Quickly, I can see all data for that particular table. So whatever layer I'm looking at, I can then view all the data in a table. Like that. I can what's known, and last thing is what's known as I can compare sites. So if I want to compare this site, there's this button here. It adds it to a multi-site plot. So I can pick that site, and then I can pick a different site. And I've got two sites. There's a default range. Let's see. Okay. So that's not a good example, but you can see here's one site and then here's the other site. So you can see it's color coded. That's kind of a very quick overview. There's also what's known as data counts. So if I want to see, let me clear this. So this tells me which sites have entered the most amount of data. You can see the bigger the circle, that means the more data entered at that site. So like this site has over 2,500 measurements. This is actually the path of the eclipse that happened last year. So you can see people were in air temperature during the eclipse right there. And then the last thing is we have an animation tool where you can animate over time, so you can see, data from a certain time range, and you can see the dots change, and you could save that out to a file if you want. All right, so that's a very quick presentation. Oh, lastly, just say you can also you can save parameters if you want to share it with students. You would just you enter a name, and then later on, if you want to share it, you just take the URL and give it to somebody else. They enter the URL on the website. It will then load all the layers, all the parameters you've picked, and just bring up the information. You can see just your sites, just your organization's measurements. Show my sites. Should go red dot. Let's see, that didn't work. If I had, oh, this user has no sites. Okay. All right, so that's a very quick overview of that. The other way to get data out is called an ADAT system, and it's more of a non-map interface, but it does allow you to do a much wider range of queries. So again, I can select the protocols I want to see. I want to see, aerosol, air temp. I can either search for sites that include both protocols or all protocols. Add to the filter. I can do a date range. Apply, and it will show me all sites that have these two protocols in this date range. And there's the list. I can then download that, download the measurement data to an Excel file that I can use to do my analysis. And again, there are many filters available to filter out what you need, whether it's by country, site, teacher, elevation, etc. All right, that's it in a very quick and dirty presentation.
Thanks, Cornell. There's a couple questions. Let's see. So Richard asked, I could not delete one photo from water vapor data entry. Any tricks without redoing the data entry?
So he cannot delete a photo?
Correct.
Did he get an error, or it just wouldn't let him do it? Should be able to delete a photo. I mean, from the site, a site photo.
Richard, are you on? Can you speak and answer Cornell's questions? Yes.
Is this question in here earlier? Let's see. I could not delete one photo from water vapor data entry. Any tricks without redoing the data entry? Yeah, he shouldn't have. You shouldn't have to redo it.
Yeah, I went to edit and clicked on delete, and it would never delete it.
Was it a photo, or was it a?
It's a cloud photo. The south. When I picked it, it was the wrong date. When I looked at it, I noticed, hey, this is not the right one. I just wanted to edit it before I moved on, but I don't want to go back and delete the whole thing and restart all the data entry again. So I don't know if it was just a glitch. I've done it before.
It may be just a glitch, because you should go to delete photos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Yeah.
Very good. All right, thanks.
Okay.
So Carol, you did see, I hope that the lat long and elevation of each of the data points was in there. So you can download that data, and it does have the elevation. Let's see. If during, oh, go ahead.
There was a question about teacher enters data in a V school, and then we get them set up as an organization, so they get moved to a new organization. Can they re-enter that data? Yes, they can re-enter the data again if they want at their own school.
I agree, Ed, that link to specific data, I love that. I would definitely, that could be even an assessment piece where they have to send, students have to send what they found in the data link, and that's a really neat, Cornell, I love that, because then people can collaborate and share with each other what they find.
Right. And that's available in both tools, the Viz2 and Viz and ADAT.
Larissa's asking what data analytics tools can we use to analyze the data? Can it be downloaded for comparative analysis?
Let's see, ArcGIS has a pretty good tool where you can import the globe data into that system, and they have a lot of different really cool analytic tools that you can use. ArcGIS, I think there was a presentation on how to do that on the website.
There is. We actually have two
Yeah.
tutorials on downloading globe data and putting it into ArcGIS.
ARCGIS.
Yes, by ESRI. And those are on the website. They're on the YouTube channel. So, and there's a blog post about it too with some other resources. So that's definitely one way. And I think people have just used Excel too.
Right, right. You can import it into Excel. It's a CVS file.
Okay, any other questions? We went through the ones in the chat box, but does anybody else have any other questions that they want to ask quickly before we let Cornell go? We'll do the count of 7 again.
CSV. All right, well, like I said, there are, these presentations are on the website. And there are other presentations as well if you have other questions. And under our the support section, there are a lot of FAQs and other videos, tutorials to help you.
Cornell, can you just show us that one more time for anybody that came in late and didn't see where those were?
Yeah, so under Get Trained, there's using the website, and you've got these options here. And under FAQs, there's other videos on how to do other things on the website, create student accounts, other things. You can also create student accounts is here. There's whole collaboration, which is useful. Setting up a Globe account. So that's all there, yeah. And there's also support if you have questions. You can contact Globe. There's FAQ section. You can submit something to the message boards. That's all there. And there's also under Get Trained, if you want to learn about some additional protocols, there are tutorials and modules on each of the different protocols in the e-training section. So there's clouds, precipitation. You can download the presentation and then take the assessment test.
All right, great. And let us know if there's other topics specifically that you're having challenges on in the classroom or that you would just like us to offer in the future for these webinar sessions. We're happy to try and work with you to make sure you're getting what you need in these webinars, and we'll bring in the experts to do it. So my email there is usglobecc@gmail.com. So please email me and let me know if you have any ideas for the future. If another one just specifically on getting the out again a little bit longer, a session on that is what you would like, we can do that too, or any topics. So let us know. And with that, then we'll say goodnight and have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you.